The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Unlocked, Journey back to Middle-earth, but this time, we're not just watching The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, we're unlocking its deepest secrets. Have you ever been swept away by the sheer scale of Helm's Deep, or felt a pang of sympathy for the wretched Gollum, yet sensed there was even more to grasp? Prepare to have your cinematic senses heightened because, in this video, we're embarking on an epic quest of analysis, venturing far beyond the surface of Peter Jackson's monumental film. Hold fast, because before our exploration is complete, we will expose a mind-blowing, almost imperceptible detail about Gollum's portrayal. A stroke of genius in visual storytelling that will forever alter your perception of this iconic, tormented soul. This isn't just trivia. It's a key to unlocking the very heart of his tragedy. The Two Towers. The very name conjures images of imposing fortresses, clashing armies, and a world teetering on the brink of annihilation. Often considered the middle child of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, nestled between the Fellowship's genesis and the earth-shattering finale, it's easy to underestimate its power. But to do so would be a grave cinematic error. The Two Towers is not a mere bridge. It's a towering achievement in filmmaking, a masterclass in interwoven narratives, a visceral and emotionally resonant experience that stands shoulder to shoulder with its bookends. It's a film that dares to be darker, grittier, and more morally complex, all while delivering action on a scale previously unimaginable. Behold the dual titans that structure The Two Towers. Firstly, the thunderous saga of Rohan, a kingdom besieged, culminating in the unforgettable, brutal ballet of Helm's Deep. This is the domain of kings grappling with duty, warriors facing down impossible odds, a siege narrative forged in the fires of epic poetry and amplified by the full force of modern cinema. Imagine Ben-Hur colliding with Braveheart, then being plunged into the fantastical depths of Tolkien's imagination. That's the sheer scale and impact we're talking about. Witness Aragorn's agonizing ascent to leadership, wrestling with the shadow of his lineage as he embraces his kingly destiny. Observe Theoden, stripped of his vitality, battling to reclaim his throne from the venomous whispers of Grandma Wormtongue, a performance of quiet devastation and eventual, glorious resurgence. And then there's Éowyn, a character simmering with untapped strength, yearning to shatter the chains of expectation and carve her own legend amidst a world consumed by war. These aren't just figures on a chessboard. They are living, breathing embodiments of courage, sacrifice, and the unyielding human spirit, rendered with breathtaking depth and nuance. Theoden's transformation in particular is a subtle acting tour de force, a masterclass in conveying inner turmoil and eventual triumph within the explosive canvas of a blockbuster. And then, Helm's Deep. Prepare yourselves. To call it a battle is like calling a hurricane a breeze. It's a cinematic maelstrom, a visceral onslaught of clashing steel, the earth-shattering thunder of hooves, and the desperate cries of heroes making their final stands. Peter Jackson doesn't merely direct this sequence. He conducts a symphony of chaos, plunging us into the heart of medieval warfare with a ferocity and realism rarely witnessed before or since. From the terrifying, relentless advance of the Uruk-hai siege ladders, to the soul-stirring, hope-igniting arrival of Gandalf and the Rohirrim at the break of dawn, Helm's Deep is more than just a battle scene. It's a cultural touchstone, a benchmark for fantasy combat that echoes through everything from Game of Thrones' most epic clashes to the most immersive moments in modern gaming. Its influence isn't just seen, it's felt in the very DNA of contemporary fantasy. But The Two Towers refuses to be confined to the grand theater of war. In a dramatic shift in tone and scale, we descend into the shadowy, morally treacherous realm of Frodo and Sam's journey, their path guided by the enigmatic, unsettling presence of Gollum. This is a narrative of stark contrasts. The sweeping battlefields of Rohan versus the claustrophobic, agonizing trek through Mordor's wastelands. The valor of kings and armies against the quiet, unwavering fortitude of hobbits facing the insidious creep of corruption. And let's speak with reverence of Gollum. Andy Serkis doesn't just deliver a performance, he conjures a digital miracle. This is not mere motion capture. It's a complete and utter inhabiting of a fractured soul, a breathtaking portrayal of a character déchiré between Sméagol's lingering embers of innocence and Gollum's ring-ravaged malevolence. Gollum isn't just arguably the heart of the Two Towers. He is its pulsating, tormented core, a tragic figure who embodies the ring's seductive poison and the soul-crushing weight of obsession. He's not a cardboard villain. He's a victim and a villain intertwined, a chilling and heartbreaking cautionary tale about the corrosive, dehumanizing nature of unchecked power. This profound complexity, this unflinching gaze into the shadows of the human, or hobbit, or something that once was, psyche, is what elevates Tolkien's saga and Jackson's masterful adaptation far beyond the simplistic morality plays of lesser fantasy. Think of Gollum as Shakespearean tragedy reborn in the digital age. The fraught, ever-shifting dynamic between Frodo, Sam, and Gollum is a masterclass in sustained tension and nuanced character interplay. Sam's unbreakable loyalty, a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness, is relentlessly tested by Gollum's venomous insinuations and Frodo's gradual descent into ring-weariness. We witness the ring's insidious tendrils not just tightening around Frodo's finger, but poisoning the very bonds of friendship, creating a palpable atmosphere of dread and the constant threat of betrayal. This internal battlefield, this psychological war of attrition, is every bit as gripping, as epic as the clash of armies at Helm's Deep. And to ignore the Ents would be to miss a vital, slow-burning heartbeat at the soul of the Two Towers. Here, we are granted access to the ancient, almost geological patience of the Ents, their awakening a force of nature long dormant, but now, finally, roused. Their storyline, unfolding at a deliberate, almost glacial pace compared to the breakneck action elsewhere, adds a crucial thematic layer, a powerful, prescient commentary on environmentalism and the slow, inexorable power of nature when finally provoked to righteous fury against industrial desecration. Treebeard's sorrowful lament for the lost forests of Fangorn, his deep-rooted connection to a world being ravaged, resonates with a chilling urgency in our own time, doesn't it? The Ents' earth-shaking, ground-trembling march on Isengard is not just a visual spectacle of staggering scale. It's a profoundly thematic earthquake. It serves as a stark, unforgettable reminder that even the seemingly powerless, the patient, the guardians of the slow rhythms of nature, can unleash a force of unstoppable, elemental fury when pushed beyond their limits. Saruman's industrial hubris, his rapacious disregard for the delicate balance of the natural world, is ultimately and spectacularly undone by the very forces he sought to exploit and dominate. A timeless, ecologically vital message about the perils of unchecked ambition and the enduring power of balance. Even as The Two Towers unleashes spectacle on a scale that redefined blockbuster cinema, it never, ever loses sight of the profoundly human cost of war. The etched, weary faces of the Rohan soldiers, the raw desperation etched in their defense of Helm's Deep, the heartbreaking grief etched onto Éowyn's countenance. These are the moments that anchor this epic fantasy in visceral, relatable human emotion. This isn't a simplistic cartoon of good versus evil. It's a haunting, unforgettable exploration of sacrifice, of agonizing loss, and of the tenacious, flickering flame of hope that persists even in the face of utter darkness. It's a film that understands deeply that even in fantasy, war leaves scars that run far deeper than any battlefield. The Two Towers is practically overflowing with moments etched into cinematic legend. Aragorn's spine-tingling, soul-stirring speech before the walls of Helm's Deep, Samwise Gamgee's unforgettable vow to carry Frodo, a moment of pure, distilled loyalty that chokes you up every time, Theoden's desperate, glorious charge into the Uruk-hai ranks, Gandalf's blindingly radiant arrival at dawn, a moment of pure cinematic catharsis. But peel back the layers of spectacle, and you'll find that, at its core, The Two Towers is a film about unbreakable resilience, about clinging to the faintest glimmer of hope when shadows engulf the world, about the quiet, earth-shifting power of small acts of courage in the face of overwhelming, soul-crushing darkness. It's a film that understands that heroism isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes, it's about simply taking the next step, even when you can't see the path ahead. Now, let's circle back to that hidden game-changing detail about Gollum I promised you at the outset. Prepare to be amazed. Throughout the Two Towers, focus intently on Gollum's eyes. Become a visual detective. You'll begin to notice an almost imperceptible, yet profoundly impactful, shift in the size and dilation of his pupils, meticulously crafted by the visual effects masters at Weta Digital, depending on which persona, the tormented Smeagol or the corrupted Gollum, holds sway in that agonizingly fractured mind. When Smeagol flickers to the surface, a fragile echo of his former self, his pupils subtly dilate, widening slightly, becoming almost heartbreakingly human, reflecting a fleeting glimpse of innocence, vulnerability, and a desperate yearning for redemption. But when Gollum, the ring-twisted predator, reasserts control, those pupils constrict, shrinking to pinpricks, becoming chillingly reptilian, cold, calculating, utterly devoid of empathy. This astonishingly subtle visual cue, a whisper of detail easily missed even on repeated viewings, stands as a monument to the filmmaker's unparalleled dedication to nuanced, multi-layered character portrayal. It's a detail so minute, so easily overlooked, yet it speaks volumes about the agonizing internal war raging within Gollum, his fractured identity teetering on the precipice, the shred of tragic humanity desperately clinging to survival beneath the suffocating weight of ring-induced corruption. It achieves the impossible. It transforms Gollum from a mere antagonist, a simple obstacle for Frodo and Sam to overcome, into a figure of profound, unsettling sympathy, a being both terrifying and heartbreaking, a walking, crawling embodiment of the seductive and ultimately destructive nature of power itself. The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Dismiss it as a middle chapter at your peril. It is, in reality, a cinematic titan, a powerhouse of emotion and spectacle, a film that not only expands the breathtaking scope of Tolkien's world, but plumbs the very depths of its characters' souls, delivering action sequences that remain unrivaled in their intensity and impact. It stands as an enduring testament to the transformative power of cinematic storytelling and a crucial, unforgettable chapter in the epic, generation-defining quest to cast the One Ring into the fires of Mount Doom. What are your most unforgettable moments from The Two Towers? Were you, like so many, completely oblivious to that masterful, almost invisible detail about Gollum's eyes? Dive into the comments below. Let's ignite a conversation about the cinematic brilliance of The Two Towers. And before you embark on your next cinematic adventure, remember to smash that like button, share this video with every Tolkien devotee you know, and subscribe to Movement Photography Project for even more mind-expanding film analysis that will forever change how you see the movies you love. Farewell, and may your own journeys be filled with light and cinematic wonder.